Hi everybody, Happy New Year. This is Adriel from Profit from Property. Today I'll be doing an analysis on Hillhaven, where I'm going to share some in-depth details on the location, the floor plan, most importantly the pricing and what sort of unit to look out for. Of course, I might miss out a few details here and there as the full information on the project is not out yet, but if you need any further details or additional information, just feel free to reach out to me, okay? So without further ado, I will go straight into the project right now. Hillhaven, it's jointly developed by 𝗪𝗪𝗠 House and 𝗪𝗪𝗠 organization. Okay, so some important information for you to take note. It's located in District 23 of Singapore, zone the outside central region. Okay, two blocks, Block 5 and Block 7, with a land size of about 111 square feet. You have Block 5, a total story of 27, Block 7, total story of 28. So later I will show you all the site plan and as well as the aerial view of the development to have a better understanding of the facing and whatnot. Okay, we have a total of 341 units and a total of 341 car park lots, which is very important because these days we see some new projects having lesser car park lots than the number of units. Okay, so this one is a 1-to-1. Okay, of course we are expecting that like the smaller units might be rented out, so those tenants might not be driving. I think it's a very good thing that you have 1-to-1 car park lots which will have ample parking space. Okay, they also provide 2 EV lots, 51 lots passive. Okay, and expected TOP it's about 2027 in Q3. Vacant possession date 2028, 30th June, meaning to say the developer cannot deliver legal completion anytime later than this date. Okay, so architect is Arc Studio. They are still finalizing the main contractor. But now I'm going to give you all a little bit of background about who the developers are. So let's start with 𝗪𝗪𝗠 House first. Founded in 1960, they are actually a Japan developer. Most importantly, we want to understand the developer's portfolio. So let's look at the developer's portfolio. In Singapore, they have built projects like Boathouse Residences, Watertown at Punggol, 𝗪𝗏𝗟𝗏, Eco, Seaside Residences, one of the newer ones that just TOP, very beautiful project in District 16. And of course, right now, what they're doing is the One Holland Village, the newest mixed development, the first development which have a dog-friendly mall in Holland V. If you can have time, you can go and check it out. Okay. The next one is, of course, without having to introduce further, one of the biggest developer locally, 𝗪𝗪𝗠 organization. Some of the newer projects that they are doing right now is Reserve Residences, which is not too far away, over at Bukit Timah side, Bijo, Alana, Park Suites, just to name a few. So it's very important to understand who the developers are. As long as you have a developer with a good track record, I think there's not much to worry about. Unlike those, the developer is a bit smaller, of smaller scale, and has no track record. So of course, this is not something that we need to worry with Hillhaven. Next, architect, we have Arc Studio Architecture and Urbanism Private Limited. They are the ones who actually did Pinnacle at Duxton, One Balmoral, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗏, the Sienna, Tembusu, a very beautiful project over at the District 19 site, where it's actually surrounded with greeneries, with sky terraces. So this architect is actually known for designing projects which have very unique facade, which is a good thing because of course you want your project to stand out also in the future when it's ready. So next we look at the location. Situated in District 23, Bukit Batok, and one good thing about this project, nearest MRT is 4 minutes away, which is Hillview MRT. Okay, I'll show you the map. So Hillhaven is right here, Hillview MRT is right here. So it's about 400 meters, 5 minutes walk away, 100 meters away to Hillview 2, 650 meters away to Rail Mall, and very near the 24-kilometer rail corridor. So of course, if you are a fan of nature, a fan of exercising, you'll be pleased to know that the rail corridor is nearby. Okay, 1.6 kilometers to the Helian Mall, 1.8 kilometers to Bukit Panjang Plaza, 1.9 kilometers to Junction 10 Mall. Okay, but the most important is walking distance to MRT. Okay, I think that's what a lot of consumers out there in the market, when they are looking for a project, They want to find something that is very convenient, that is near to amenities and near to MRT. Okay? To orientate you all a little bit in terms of where exactly are we from the MRT line. Okay, we are here, Hillview MRT. Okay, the next stop will be Beauty World, down to King Albert's Park, 6th Avenue, the Bukit Timah District, District 10. Okay, and then if you go further down all the way here, of course, you start to hit the Orchard area. Okay, and then you go down some more, that's where you have a direct line all the way to the CBD area, Chinatown, 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏, Downtown, Bayfront, Promenade. Okay, so it takes you about 30 minutes to 35 minutes to travel via a straight MRT line all the way from Hillview down to the CBD area. So you walk 4 to 5 minutes from Hillhaven to Hillview MRT, and then a direct downtown line all the way to CBD. So I think just to give you all a glimpse of transportation. Okay, next up. Okay, unfortunately for Hillhaven, within 1 kilometer, we don't have any reputable or known schools, known primary schools. But along the downtown line, that's where you find many good schools within travelling distance from the downtown line. Example, when you go to King Albert Park, that's where you find your SIM and Ngee Ann Polytechnic. 10 minutes down to Tan Kah Kee MRT station, that's where you find Hwa Chong Institution, Nanyang Girls School. Okay, and then you go further down, Stevens MRT, that's where you find SGI International, Singapore Chinese Girls School, and CJC. Okay, just to name a few. Okay, so of course, you might have people buying this project where maybe they are the alumni of all these schools. They are staying slightly further away, but still easily accessible to these schools. Here's the overview of what is currently happening now. You have a sheltered walkway in the Hillview area all the way to Hillview MRT. Okay, so very convenient. Right opposite is where you will find Hillview 2. That's one of the commercial that is located almost right at your doorstep, and these are some of the amenities there. So you have your supermarket, your fitness, coffee, eateries, and more. Okay, so this is a few more information where we talk about the nearest other malls that I mentioned earlier on, like the Rail Mall, Hillhaven Mall, Bukit Panjang Plaza, Junction 10, so on and so forth. Now we come to the most exciting part, where I will show you the site plan, the facing of the unit, and then thereafter we will go into the floor plan of the unit. Okay, so here's the Hillhaven site plan. We have 2 blocks like I mentioned earlier, block 5 here and block 7 here. Okay, so just to take note, block 5 and block 7, those that are facing towards the facilities are the north facing. Okay, and the opposite ones are the south facing. So generally most of the units here are almost north-south facing. Later I'll touch a little bit more on the facing. But the north facing one, depending on the level, you will face the facilities. Beyond the facilities, that's where you find Hillview Mall here. Okay? Later I'll show you all the aerial view to have a better understanding of exactly where the location is. Entrance to the development is right here. Okay? So of course you have full condo facilities here. Take note that parking is multi-story parking. So here's where the driveway to the entrance is. The drop-off is right here. You have to be of a certain level if you are north facing to have a good view of the facilities and beyond. Okay? So north facing, if you can see, right in front you have the Hillyer and Hillview 2 right in front. So the mall is literally just right across the road. Okay? And then on the right hand side of the development right here, you will find the Hillview Community Club, okay, which is just 1 minute walk away. Okay, Hillview 2 is about 1 minute walk away, just across the road. And then right at the back right now is an empty plot of land, those that are facing south. So according to the master plan, it is zone education. So for the south facing units, those that are facing towards south, it will be unblocked in terms of the view, because beyond the educational land, you'll see the landed properties on the right hand side, if you all can see from here. Okay, so it's important to understand what is happening around the area, or rather what you'll be facing, because which later I'll touch on that, because the developers will price the units differently in terms of the facing, okay? And of course the size and the layout and all that. Okay, but this is a snapshot of the overview. Okay, like the real mall is 10 minutes walk away. Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, 12 minutes cycling, 6 minutes walk away. And this is Hillview MRT right here. And then you can have the shelter when you cross the roundabout all the way down to Hillview MRT station. Okay, so this is just a snapshot in terms of where the facing is and what you are looking at. Distribution and unit mix. For the 2 bedrooms, total number of units is 134. The 2 bedroom plus study, 48 units. So if you're talking about the 2 bedroom, combining the 2 bedroom plus study and the 2 bedroom, it takes up majority of the unit mix at almost 54%. Okay, the 3 bedroom, we have 27 units. And then we have the 3 bedroom plus study, 78 units. So total 3 bedroom unit mix is about 30%. Okay, and finally we have 54 4 bedroom units, okay, at a total of 15%. Okay, so this is the breakdown of the unit types in Hillhaven. Okay, of course, we have a variety of sizes, like the 2 bedrooms, we have the smaller 2 bedrooms, the bigger 2 bedrooms, the 2 plus study. So right now I'll run through the facing and also the floor plan of these individual units. A little bit more about the elevation chart. Okay, one thing I forgot to add, Hillhaven is located very near army camps and near restricted zones. Okay, so of course, if you are the residents that are buying certain units at a certain level, facing towards these restricted zones is a mandate that the government have to actually somehow obstruct, not really say obstruct a view, but they have to have certain facade to ensure that the residents there do not have a clear view into all these restricted camps and zones. Okay, so just take note that this will happen for those north-facing units, especially on those higher floors. So if you can see the demarcation here, all those red color boxes, north-facing in block 5 will start from level 13 all the way to 27. So all these owners who buy these units, right in front of their balcony, they will have visual screenings. Okay, later I will show you an example of that, visual screenings. For block 7, these are the 3 units, stacked 11, 12, and 13 from level 13 onwards. Then the next one I want to touch on is, of course, if you see those highlighted in the blue here, right here, is unit with double volume space at living and dining. So usually, top floor units, developer give you higher ceiling space. Okay, so higher ceiling space, this is where these units have higher ceiling space at the living and dining. So we have this unit here, 13, 11. Okay, and then of course the south facing sides, we have stack 1 and stack 3. Alright, okay, so without further ado, here's the floor plan. I will start with the smaller size all the way to the bigger size. Okay, for Hillhaven, the smaller size that we have, it's the 2 bedroom at 678 square feet. Okay, and I think one interesting to note is that for this developer, right, the smallest unit type is the 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Okay, unlike some of the newer projects out there, they have a variety of 2 bedrooms. So what do I mean by a variety of 2 bedrooms is that sometimes they will have a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, so on and so forth. But for this, I think the developer understands that in the market, most of the consumers who are looking at 2 bedrooms ideally wants to have a 2 bathroom as well. Okay, and at this 678 square feet, the layout is a dumbbell layout, which also has been immensely popular in the recent years. Most of the developers who are building 2 bedrooms have actually employed this floor plan in their design. Okay, so what do I mean by a dumbbell layout? A dumbbell layout meaning to say that you have lack of a foyer space. Once you enter, you will see your living and dining, and then you have bedrooms each on one side. So what do I mean by each on one side? You have a common bedroom on one side here, master bedroom on one side here. Okay, so this bathroom right here is quite good in terms of the design, where you can actually use it as a junior ensuite. There's a Jack and Jill toilet here. You can open the door here, keep it closed, and you have guests, they will actually access the toilet from the walkway right here. Okay, then of course this is your master room, where the toilet is actually attached to the bedroom. Okay, good thing about this, comes with the enclosed kitchen. Again, this is a very rare trait for 2 bedroom. Most of the time, some developers for the 2 bedroom, they will have an open kitchen. Okay, but for this, the developer specially built an enclosed kitchen. You have countertops on both sides, all the equipments are all nicely tucked away in the kitchen. Then you have the balcony space right here. So this is what I mean by a dumbbell layout. So if you realize that the floor plan is a little bit more functional, where they do away with the walkway space, and then unlike the traditional layout where the 2 bedrooms are on one side, which later I will show you, because for this developer they also have that floor plan. Okay, so remember at the earlier on slide I was talking about the higher level units. For this one is facing north, so the higher level units for the north facing, unfortunately they will be looking into the restricted areas. So that's where the developer actually have to build the visual screenings right here. So this will happen for the 13th to the 27th floor. Okay, of course, the downside to this is that the visual screens would not totally obstruct the view, but of course it might potentially impact the natural lighting coming into the unit lah. Yeah, so I think this is something that the homeowners who are buying the high floor units will have to take note. Okay, so the visual screens will happen for the balcony side here, as well as on the common bedroom side here at the AC ledge. So this is stack 5, 6, 7, 8 square feet. Okay, next one we have also B1B layout, 6, 7, 8 square feet. Stack 6. Okay, so stack 6 is just located right beside stack 5. So the floor plan is exactly the same. It's just that it is a mirror image from the earlier floor plan that we see. Okay, so in terms of pricing, both same block, side-by-side stacks, in terms of pricing, they should not differ too much, since both of them have the same facing, same attribute, same size, same layout. Okay, so visual screening will start from 13th floor again to the 27th floor, happens for the main balcony area and the common area at the AC ledge right here. Next, we have the next floor plan, B2A, 700 square feet. Also a dumbbell layout. Okay, just that now the size is slightly larger than the 6, 7, 8 square feet. Okay, 0202 to 2702. So take note that this time around for this 700 square feet dumbbell layout, even though the layout is almost similar to the earlier on unit of 6, 7, 8 square feet, the facing is very different. So this one is actually stack 2 right here, facing towards the south side right here. Okay, so you also have a ground floor unit where they have the patio right here. So for this unit, the developer will definitely price this more premium than a 6, 7, 8 square feet due to its facing. So of course, again, we have to understand 6, 7, 8 square feet north facing, in terms of pricing, it will be definitely lower than a 700 square feet south facing. Floor plan wise, honestly, I cannot tell too much a difference in terms of the layout because it's very similar to the 6, 7, 8 square feet. But in terms of the sizing, there should be some difference in the living room. The living room and the dining area is slightly larger for the 700 square feet as compared to the 6, 7, 8 square feet. So once I have this information out, I can share it more with you guys in terms of the breakdown, in terms of the difference in the exact sizes at the exact areas of the unit between the 700 square feet and 6, 7, 8 square feet. Okay, but of course, if budget wise you're working with a certain budget, definitely the 6, 7, 8 square feet will be more affordable than the 700 square feet. Again, 700 square feet is the same as the earlier one of B2A. It's just that this one is located on a different stack of stack 9. So from 0209 all the way to 2809. So for all the south facing units, you won't find any visual screenings because they're not facing towards any restricted areas. Layout wise, similar. Also the dumbbell layout is a mirror image from B2A. So everything else is the same. And also of course it's located at a different block, block 7, slightly nearer to the MRT side. Next, 721 square feet. This time around, we can see a distinct difference in terms of the layout. So what do I mean by that? This 721 square feet is a traditional 2-bedroom layout. We see that the 2-bedroom, bedroom 2, and master bedroom is actually tucked away at the corner. Okay, it still comes with 2 bathrooms, bathroom 2, and the attached master bath at the master bedroom. But this time around, the common toilet, you can't convert it to an ensuite with bedroom 2. So it's just a common toilet right here. You enter into the unit, you have a small little foyer space. Kitchen is on the left, your dining and your living, and then you have this walkway into your rooms. Okay, so this is what I mean by the more traditional layout. Okay, balcony space right here. This one is located at Stack 12, Block 7, so north facing. So what happens is on the 13th to 28th floor again, you will have to have these visual screenings on the AC ledge and on the balcony of the living room. Later, I will touch a bit more on the pricing. Okay, but meanwhile, right now what I want to do is to share with you all the difference in terms of the floor plans first and the facing, so at least you all have an understanding first. Okay, next, 797 square feet, 2-bedroom study. So this is the largest 2-bedroom we have for Hillhaven. Again, one good thing I appreciate about the developer is all the kitchens are enclosed. Only difference this time around, it comes with a study, and then of course the master bedroom is larger. This is almost like a compact 3-bedroom in some of the newer projects we see, because the study here, it comes with the window right here, window at the side here. And if you want, you can squeeze in a 𝗪𝗶𝗡 bed. So what do I mean? A 𝗪𝗶𝗡 bed, built-in bed to the wall, you can pull it down. But of course, a queen bed will not be big enough to fit in. But this is a good size 2-bedroom plus study at 797 square feet. Stack-wise, it's also located on Stack 4 towards the north facing. So again, the higher units, 13th floor onwards, they will also need to have the visual screenings. Next up, we have the 3-bedroom at the smallest size of C1 layout at 947 square feet. So this is the smallest 3-bedroom in Hillhaven, compact 3-bedroom. Comes with the enclosed kitchen, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. Okay, all the rooms are of very decent size, can all easily fit in a queen bed. And then you have a proper separated space for your dining and your living. The balcony is also quite good size for Hillhaven, where these days most of the owners would actually consider putting the dining area at the balcony, freeing up the interior space. But other than that, it's a very practical and functional layout. All the bathrooms comes with windows for natural ventilation, because if you realize, all the 3 bedrooms are actually tucked at the corner. Okay, so this is C1 for Stack 13. Okay, next, 3-bedroom, 958 square feet. Here's where it gets interesting. 958 square feet, this time around they give you a study, and this one is located at Stack 11. This floor plan is something that I personally like. If you come in, you have an enclosed kitchen here, again slightly wider than the 947 square feet. You have countertops here on both sides, fridge, washer and dryer tucked away nicely in the kitchen. You have a small little foyer space right here. This is where your distribution box is. But of course, over this area, you can create a little bit of storage space. Proper area for your dining, living area right here. But this time around, they have 1-bedroom, bedroom 3 that's tucked away on the side. And you have bedroom 2 and a master bedroom all the way on the other side. So it's like a dumbbell layout, like similar to the 2-bedroom, but this time around it is a 3-bedroom. Okay, balcony space right here. But layout wise, I feel this is better than the 947 square feet. Okay, why do I say so? 958 square feet, 947 square feet. 947 versus 958, the difference is almost 10 square feet difference, but this time around they give you study. But if you look closely in the floor plan, all the rooms can still fit in a queen bed. So it's not like saying that the developer is sacrificing room space just to fit in the study. But of course, we can tell that the living and dining is slightly shorter, but that is not going to impact much on this floor plan, as the balcony is of course still of a decent size where you can have your dining out at the balcony. But most importantly here is the pricing that we're talking about, because in terms of phasing, the 958 and the 947 square feet, if you remember, 947 is actually Stack 13, 958 is Stack 11, both located same block, same facing, same north facing. So it's not like saying that the 958 square feet or the 947 square feet have a better facing versus the other unit, if you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to say here is that the price will not differ too much for the 958 and the 947 square feet. So example, if we are talking about a 10 square feet difference of a per square foot of, let's say example, $2,100 to $2,000 per square foot, is only about $20,000 difference. So definitely, if you have the choice, go for the 958 square feet, the 3-bedroom plus study. Next, We have the 1012 square feet, 3-bedroom. So this is the largest 3-bedroom layout that we have. South facing, stack 1. So longer foyer space, longer, more rectangular-ish kitchen. Okay, a larger living and dining. It also comes with a study room right here. 3 bedrooms are all at the side, right here. So only difference here is, of course, the layout is slightly different, it's larger. The space difference goes into the kitchen, the living, and the master bedroom. And of course, the facing is also very different, south facing, so it's the more premium facing. Okay, next, 1012 square feet. Again, same stack, same facing as stack 1. So 10 and 1 all south facing. So the developer actually put the larger 3-bedroom to have a better facing. But what does that mean? This means that the price also will be definitely higher in terms of the per square foot, in terms of the overall quantum. But it's almost similar to the earlier floor plan of C3, where you enter, you have the kitchen space here. But take note, this time around the study is very different. The study, it's almost like a flexible room, which later I'll break down in terms of the difference. And they give you a wash closet right here. It's like an additional helper's toilet here. So of course, for homeowners, if you need those with helpers, domestic helpers, you can convert this area, this study area, into a helper's room. Unlike the C3 layout doesn't have a helper's toilet, but only comes with a study right here. So the C4 layout comes with an additional WC, a more flexible study room per se. And then of course, all the rooms again quite standard size, where you can fit in your queen bed. The master room here looks slightly smaller compared to the C3 layout. Next, we have the 4-bedroom, 1259 square feet. Quite good size for the 4 bedrooms. When you enter, you have the junior master on one side, living and dining right here, kitchen, the utility room, and your WC. Okay, the developer understands that the 4-bedroom definitely have to give a WC. So I think you will find this across all the 4 bedrooms for Hillhaven. Bedroom 1, 2, 3. And then the utility room also, of course, you can create it into a study room if needed. If not, a proper helper's room or a mixture between a helper's room and a storage space. Located on stack 3, south facing. Okay, next, 1259 square feet. This one is for the 13th to 26th floor. The layout is exactly the same. The only difference is, of course, the facade wise. Like if you see the 2nd floor to 12th floor, right? The RC ledge, it is a facade that it's built by the developer. It goes all the way to the master room. Okay, whereas for the 13th to 26th floor, it only stops right here. It's not going to impact much in terms of your resellability or the interior layout. Interior layout wise, everything is exactly the same. Of course, if you go to the highest floor, remember earlier on I was talking about the double volume higher ceiling, so that will be found on the 27th floor. Last but not least, we have the largest 4-bedroom, 1378 square feet. This time around, the floor plan is very different. The living itself is in a landscape format. So what do we mean by a landscape format? Is rectangular-ish like this, unlike your earlier floor plan of 1259 where it's like this. So of course the balcony is longer and wider due to its layout. Again, you have the junior master and the junior bath on one side, but this time around it comes with a dry kitchen where the developer is providing you with WC right here, and a store is tucked away at the back. One of the bedroom is located on the back, and then you have bedroom 2 and your master bedroom right here. So this would be the most premium in terms of all the 4 bedrooms that we have available for Hillhaven. Now we look at the 3 plus study comparison between the 958 and the 1012 square feet. Okay, so 1012 square feet have the same facing, 958 square feet north facing. So the study room for the 958 square feet and the C3 3-bedroom plus study 1012 square feet, the study room comes with a door and window. So this door and window is very useful. You can use it as a proper +1. And then the last 1012 square feet, which I was mentioning earlier on, is where you have a little bit of flexibility in terms of the conversion and the usage of the room. Okay, that's for the C4. Okay, so again, my recommendation would be the 947 square feet, 3-bedroom without a study would be definitely my last choice. So of course 958 square feet is something that you can consider, but of course the 1012 square feet south facing would be ideal, because we all understand that buyers who are buying the 3-bedroom are typically for own stay. So very important to understand is that the price difference between the south facing and the north facing. So what do I mean by that? If the south facing 3-bedroom plus study is charging 200 to 300,000 more expensive than the 958 square feet north facing, we need to understand whether that margin of difference is worth for us to go for the 3-bedroom study at the south facing. Okay, so of course all these are a little bit more in depth. I will do a separate analysis on that where I dwell into the profitability, the potential of all the individual units, and so on and so forth. Okay, 4-bedroom comparison. Of course, we have the 1259 square feet versus the 1378 square feet. Okay, so 1378 square feet, you have the only difference, of course, the store and a dry kitchen, larger balcony. You have a Jack and Jill right here. Okay, both ensuite at the junior master, whereas for the smaller 4-bedroom only comes with the utility room. Okay, so this is a snapshot of the difference in terms of the floor plan. So to me, I feel that the 1378 square feet does not have a distinct advantage over the 1259 square feet, because it's not like the 1259 square feet has a lack of a utility room or a lack of a wash closet, and its 4 bedrooms are all of a proper size. So it's more of a layout preference here. But of course, one thing we also need to understand that the quantum would be very different, because we're talking about easily 100 square feet difference. So a 100 square feet difference between a 1378 versus a 1259 at an average price of $2,100 per square foot, that's approximately about $200,000+ difference. So the key consideration here would be, would buyers be willing to pay $200,000+ more for a 1378 square feet? Yeah, so this one is something that you need to understand. Both facing would be the same. Of course, 1259 square feet might be a slight disadvantage due to its facing. It might be the units getting a little bit more west sun than the 1378 square feet. Now, I go to the pricing of Hillhaven. So it's very important to understand what is the estimated pricing of Hillhaven. Of course, all this information is not released yet, but one thing we want to focus on is the land cost of Hillhaven. So Hillhaven was purchased by the developer at estimated PSF of $1,849 per square foot. So simply looking around what is on the market right now around the area. Okay, so I'll go into a snapshot of the pricing estimate first for Hillhaven. So this is a good information for you guys to take note. I break down in terms of the sizing: 678 square feet, 700 square feet, 721 square feet, and this is the average per square foot. So if the developers are selling at $1,950, the lowest price you can get for the 2-bedroom is $1.322 million. Okay, but very unlikely, yeah. But this is just a price matrix for you to understand at what sort of pricing, what sort of quantum, if the per square foot is at a certain level. Okay, so if we take an average of about $2,100 per square foot, the lowest 2-bedroom should start at about $1.423 million. So why do I share the price matrix? Here we look at nearby. We have 𝗵𝗏𝗧. 𝗵𝗏𝗧 is at Dairy Farm area, same district but slightly further right here. So this is a project that has been launched earlier, a TOP in 2027. Okay, so if you look at the cost price from the developer, it's about $1,717 per square foot that's purchased by the developer. Okay, so right now we want to look at the average pricing for 𝗵𝗏𝗧. The 1-bedroom 506 square feet to 710 square feet was transacted at this price range from $1,007 per square foot to $2,004 per square foot. Of course, for Hillhaven, we don't have a 1-bedroom, so we will just focus on the 2-bedrooms and onwards. 2-bedroom for 𝗵𝗏𝗧, average 1822 to 2299 per square foot, the highest. 3-bedroom, lowest 1816 to 2173. And then of course we have the 4-bedroom 1917 to 2083, and then 1863 to 2070 for the 5 bedrooms. Okay, the overall average for Botany is at $2,071 per square foot. So again, very important to understand this. The cost price is at 1,007. The average selling price for Botany is about 2071 per square foot. Next, the Mist. We look at where the location is, slightly further down away from Hillview. So it's Hillview MRT, Cashew, and then Bukit Panjang. So the Mist is actually located right here. So it's further down a bit. Again, we look at the breakdown in terms of the pricing per square foot. 2 bedroom is starting from 1961 to 2234, highest 2234. 3 bedroom 1897 to 2160. And then we have the 4 bedroom at 1920, 5 bedroom at 1981. So this is flanked between 2 MRTs, Bukit Panjang and Cashew MRT. Botany is a little bit more inaccessible, it's further out a little bit. So some distance away to Hillview MRT right here. So if looking at the average per square foot for the entire Mist, we are looking at about $2,092 per square foot. So I think it's important for you all to understand what has been transacted around the area, what are the buyers paying for the other developments near Hillhaven, which will go back to this price estimate. So for me, what I am looking at is the developer should launch somewhere around at the average of 2050 to $2,100 per square foot. But again, all this really depends on the facing of the unit and the level of the unit. So of course, if you understand how developer works, is they will load the pricing as accordance to the facing and as accordance to the level of the unit, which I will use the 3 bedroom as a quick example. Now we look at 947 and the 958 square feet. Let's look at these two. So why do I always emphasize on the importance of the facing and importance of the layout? So if you remember earlier on, I was telling you the 958 square feet is the 3 plus study. The 947 is the 3 bedroom, right? Both have the same facing, but if you are talking about pricing, if both has the same facing, the per square foot is not going to differ too much in terms of the pricing strategy from the developer. So if we take an average of 2050 for both, do you see what I mean? The 3 plus study is only $20,000 more than the 3 bedroom. So definitely, of course, depending on your choice unit, depending on your queue number, definitely go for the 3 plus study, because that is going to give you a much better exit strategy when you are selling in future, right? Because it's almost the same quantum. Imagine if both units are selling at almost the same price in the future, your potential buyer would definitely be looking at the 3 plus study versus the 3 bedroom. But of course, if you're talking about the 1012 square feet, the south facing, then this time around, we need to understand how much the developers are going to price these units. So as an example, if you are left with the higher floors south units right here, and the developer is putting up at $2,250 per square foot versus an example of a 1.96 million for the 958 square feet. So the price premium comes from mainly the facing, and of course in terms of the size, the slight size difference. So then we need to again understand almost $300,000 difference between the 3 plus study, whether is it worth it for us to enter at this price for the 3 plus study. But of course, all these prices are it's just an example. I'm just sharing with you on how we analyze which units are things to look out for. Then definitely is something that we also need to consider. The next thing we want to look out for is, of course, the difference in terms of the price gap between the layouts. So if you look at the 2 plus study versus the 2 bedroom, if your 2 plus study is at 1.594 million, just take an example, and your 2 bedroom is at 1.478 million, is the price gap very far away? So the answer is a healthy price gap away. But one thing you want to realize is from the 2 plus study to the 3 bedroom, let's say there's a price gap of about 300 plus thousand. The 2 plus study might be a good unit for you to look at. So all these are key considerations when it comes to selecting a unit within a development. All this, of course, we have to consider. And then most importantly, also depends on your budget. The key thing is within your budget, sit down, select a few good units according to the budgets, select the best one, plan for a good exit strategy in the future. So that's how we usually analyze for our clients. Lastly, I will talk a little bit about the upcoming future residential land plots, which I think is also important because you do not want to be the last one in the area. Try to avoid that. Why do I mean be the last one in the area? Meaning to say, if Hillhaven is the last project in the area, usually it's going to be the most expensive because, of course, if we know land cost has been increasing over the years. So if Hillhaven is the only project left, definitely you'll be entering at the highest among all the other projects. But if you know that there are future upcoming land plots, I think it's a good safeguard in a sense. Okay, so you know that upcoming future developments in Hillview area would definitely be priced higher than Hillhaven. So it's not only for Hillview area, but in the dairy farm area, there's also 6 more residential plots up in the area. So this one is where Hillhaven is. So this is what I was mentioning about. This is the educational plot of land. And right here is all the landed. So the south facing one definitely will have a good view. Okay, so with that, this is my analysis on Hillhaven. I hope I've given you all the important information. But of course, if you all need more in-depth information in terms of the pricing, the exit strategy, the analysis, the in-depth analysis in terms of the surrounding projects, do feel free to reach out to me. Okay, thank you, and I will see you at the next project. Goodbye.